India is moving fast. Europe is ready. America is still waiting.
India-EU summit is to be held on 27th of January.
As New Delhi prepares to welcome European leaders as chief guests at this year's Republic Day celebration, the message from India is unmistakable. This partnership is no longer symbolic, it is strategic. On the trade front, India is racing ahead to steal a landmark free trade agreement with the European Union.
India-EU summit is to be held on 27th of January, and the leaders, the President of the EU Council and the President of EU Commission, they are visiting India. They are the chief guest for they'll be here on a state visit. They are a chief guest for Republic Day this time. On India-EU FTA, as I told you last time as well, that these negotiations are progressing.
Potentially one of the biggest deals in the country's economic history. Negotiations are in their final stretch. Most chapters are closed and political intent on both sides is clear. From the Republic Day parade to the negotiating table, Europe is firmly in focus. Diplomacy, defense cooperation, supply chains and now trade are aligning at once. Even as India and the United States continue discussing on bilateral trade deals, there is no deadline, no closure and no clarity. Tariff disputes and market access disagreement continue to slow the progress. India, it appears, is no longer willing to wait indefinitely. By pushing ahead with Europe, while US talks hang fire, New Delhi is sending a clear-cut signal to the world. India will move forward with partners who are ready to decide. This is not a shift away from America. It is a shift towards certainty, balance and speed. We decode why Europe is moving faster than America. What's inside the India and EU trade deal? What's holding back the India-US pact? And how this shift could reshape India's economic future. Let's start with Europe. Segment 1. India-European Union FTA and the finish line. After years of stop-start negotiations, India and European Union are now closer than ever to signing a comprehensive free trade agreement. Officials confirm that most chapters of the deal are already closed, covering trade in goods, services, investment protection, digital trade, sustainability and labor standards. The agreement could be formally concluded around the upcoming India-EU summit, making it one of the largest trade deals India has ever signed. India-EU trade deal. Majority chapters closed. Market access expanded. Services and manufacturing boost. This deal is expected to increase India's export to Europe, lower tariffs on key Indian products, create new opportunities for IT, pharma, textiles and auto components. For India, Europe represents a stable, high-value market at the time of global uncertainty. Segment 2. What India gains from Europe. The European Union is already one of the India's top trading partners, but this deal could take the relationship to a whole new level. India businesses stand to gain easier access to the European 27-nation market, over 440 million consumers, high-value manufacturing and service sectors. At the same time, Europe wants better access to India's fast-growing consumer market, strong investment protection, deeper supply chain integration with India. In simple terms, Europe sees India as a reliable alternate to China, and India sees Europe as a long-term strategic partner. Segment 3. Carbon tax, the final roadblock. But even at the finish line, there is one last hurdle. The toughest issue still on the table is EU's carbon border tax, known as the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. India has warned that this carbon tax could increase the cost for Indian exports, impact steel, aluminium, cement and power-intensive industries, hurt developing economies disproportionately. Negotiators are now working to strike a middle ground, balancing Europe's climate goals with India's development needs. Carbon tax, deal breaker or deal maker. Despite the challenge, both sides are signaling strong political will to close the deal. Segment 4. India-US trade talks stuck in slow motion. Now compare this with India's trade talks with United States. India and US have been discussing a bilateral trade agreement for years. Talks are ongoing, engagements continue, but there is no deadline, no clear finish line.
This conversation happened on 13th of January. This was the first conversation between the two leaders. They discussed a range of bilateral issues, including trade, critical minerals, defense, civil nuclear cooperation, and energy. And they also exchanged perspectives on regional developments. As to when our leaders would be visiting each other's countries, those are details that will are yet to be worked out. And
officials admit negotiations are complex with disagreements over tariffs, market access, agriculture products, industrial duties. Recent US tariff measures have further strained the pace of talks, raising concerns among Indian exporters. India-US trade deal, no deadline, tariff disputes, market access issues. In short, progress without certainty. Segment 5. Why US talks are moving slow. So why is the US deal lagging behind? There are three major points. Number 1, tariff first approach by Washington. Number 2, domestic political pressures in US. Number 3, differences over the trade protection and subsidies. Unlike Europe, the US is pushing for the sector-specific concessions, making negotiations more difficult. For India, this creates an uncertainty is bad for business. Segment 6. India's strategic message to the world. By pushing ahead with Europe, India is sending a clear global signal. India will not wait endless for any single partner. Trade decisions will be driven by mutual benefit, balance, and timeliness. This approach helps India diversify trade partnerships, reduce dependency on one major economy, strengthen its position in global supply chains. It also reinforces India's image as a country that is open to trade, but on fair terms. Segment 7. What this means for Indian economy. If the EU deal is signed, Indian exports could rise sharply. Manufacturing and services could see new investment. Jobs could be created across sectors. At the same time, India will continue engaging with US, but without rushing into an uneven deal. Trade strategy diversify, not depend. In a changing global order, India is choosing certainty over delay. Europe is ready to move, America is still thinking. This message from New Delhi is unmistakable. India is open for business, but only on the terms that protect growth, balance, and national interest.